Well, I guess we have to solve a few more problems here. Well, problems. Just continue with our painting. I think I'm going to continue with this ultramarine blue. Maybe go a little higher in value to help some of these shapes stand out. This hole here I've fixed by having sort of a distant bit of foliage, bramble poking up into it a little bit. And we're going to cut down into here and slowly have these trees come up in a staggered manner. So let's play with that. Play, play, play. That's too light. Okay. How was that? That's okay. That's a bit too dark. Okay. And that's going back to being too light again. What Goldilocks had it figured out. She only had to try 3 different things. I had to try 4. Okay, that is just right. I believe. Well, it's kind of getting down into this valley that's just in front of us. And maybe there's a little bit of moisture down there, and that moisture reflects, or yeah, it reflects some of the light from above. Okay, we'll try to keep this little shape interesting without looking too Halloweenish. I'm using ultramarine blue and ultramarine blue and burnt sienna and a little bit of white right now. And I went too dark again. Okay. Stop it. There we go. That's a little better. Crisping up the edges of my shapes in the foreground here, just a tad. If the odd stroke is a little too light and the odd one is a little bit too dark, that's okay. That's where we get our variety from. Okay. I just see a couple of other spots that I would like to touch up while I'm working on this. Okay. I keep adding ultramarine blue as I get down into the trees here a little bit, or down into the valley behind. Now I'm going to add a hint of alizarin crimson to that. Yeah, that's not too bad. These trees are a little bit spooky looking, that's okay. I'll give the painting some character. I'm going to remove this one though. There we go. And cut into there a little bit. Alright, that's good for the moment. Now way over here I have a pretty strong purple. I think I'll take that down a notch. Not close to the edge of the canvas. Or, you know, not far away from the focal area. Now, straight ultramarine blue and white. Just wanted to, I have a line here, you know, here, and then I have another sort of line here. I'd like to break that up. I'd like to give more variety. Just to help indicate that there is a bit of moisture. Oops. I've never accidentally broken or cut right through a canvas yet. It's come close at times, but hasn't happened so far. Hopefully it doesn't start now. Okay, I think that solves our hole, our visual hole. By the time I lay some light on some of these bushes, I think we're going to be good. So I'm going to leave that. Now I'm going to work off to the right here a little bit and get these shapes where I want them. So I'm taking a bit of a ratty brush here, and I've just mixed up a little bit of ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, and a hint of raw umber, not for the color, but because it's so dark, I'm not too worried about the color, but the raw umber will help the mixture dry a little quicker, a little more quickly, I should say. So if our light's coming from the right-hand side, poking in, well, the right and above, and catching some areas on some of these trees, I don't need to worry about redefining the light edge, but I do want to make sure that I have fairly clean and consistently dark lines on the shady side. So that's what I'm doing right now. I would say that this tree will sit slightly in front of this one. They're kind of saddled up beside each other, actually. And where trunk is showing, there's no foliage in front, so you look into the tree a little bit. So right around the branches is very likely to be a lot darker as well. And that's why I darken that as well. See, that just makes them pop out. And the bottom of the tree, of course, keep that fairly dark. If the whole painting were a brush painting and it had to be fairly accurate and detailed, I probably would use a better brush than what I'm using right now to do this job. But it's being done with a knife, and I want to keep some degree of looseness there, you know, so it's a bit dull. Okay. I'm not exactly sure of the shape in there. I'm not going to worry about it just yet. But I did decide, I think, that I want this branch to be shorter. We'll go down the side of that trunk like so. Trunk's a bit thick right now. If I'm going to go over it with a knife, it's probably going to get thicker again, so I'll make it thinner than it has to be right now, just for the moment. That to stand out. I want. I know, I sound like a spoiled child. Probably am. Okay, that's a bit detail-y there, so okay. That'll do the job. And this tree will be probably in front of the other two, but just barely, and I don't want it too light You know, I'll just give that outline a bit of strength there too. Just like I always say, you can always go a little lighter. It's a lot harder to go darker once you got paint on. It's tedious work right now, but it can save you all kinds of tedious work later. And this is frankly less work. It's the old ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure philosophy. Maybe a hint of branch showing there. Maybe just a bit. We'll see. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, I would like it to come somewhat lower, I think. But maybe that's all. Maybe not much. These are very short, squat, not the healthiest trees, and therefore they're interesting. I know I've mentioned before that if you actually look at trees, you know, unless you're on a Christmas tree farm, you're rarely going to see the perfect triangles. They always have their own character. This is a real exemplar of that, you know. Well, they all are, because they're fairly irregular. So I'm going to try to maintain this. This might look a little too alien so far. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to manage that one. I'm not even sure if some of this grassy area will come up here a little more, and that will sit behind it or in front. I'm thinking probably in front. Okay, anyway. I think those are good now. I'll back the camera off and on to some other thoughts. Okay, I'm just gonna put a little bit of highlighting on some trunks here. I don't want it too intense because I'm not thinking that this little meadow here has got too much straight sunlight on it. There might be, but that's not my thinking for the time being anyway. So we'll just go easy with the light. Be gentle with our sun application here. Really don't need to be catching any light on this branch over here. And I made this one too light right away. And that'll do it. Okay. Now let's see. Oh, too much paint on my knife. Too much paint on my knife. Now, of course, I'd gone in already just a few minutes ago with some dark paint just to sort of make my trunk stand out. So that paint is still slimy. So I have to be a little bit careful. Okay. Yeah, I'll go a little higher with that, just a little bit. But a little lower value as well. There we go. Playing and playing and playing.